at siteforum.gov.bm. Roadworks along Front Street carried out by the City of Hamilton are set to be complete by end of day tomorrow. Traffic had been reduced to one lane for motorists whilst pavement work was underway this week, causing delays around Hamilton. A city spokesperson confirming crews are making good progress today. They said the next step is to open up the driving lane to traffic as soon as the asphalt has sufficiently hardened. However, they said the parking lane will be closed all weekend to allow the asphalt to cure enough to be able to handle turning maneuvers. Next weekend, parking bay markings will be painted. Pavement work to All Boys Point is due to begin next Monday. There will be no parking allowed in the area. However, access will be open to local businesses. The city apologizing for any inconvenience caused to commuters and asks for the public's patience as they seek to improve its roadways and sidewalks. Well, 2 more coronavirus-related deaths were reported by the Ministry of Health yesterday. Minister of Health Kim Wilson extends her condolences to the family of the loved ones of those deceased. Since the last update on May 11th, there were 307 positive cases out of 9,183 results received by the ministry, giving a test positivity rate of 3.3%. 38 of the new cases are classified as imported. There are now 360 active cases, of which 5 are in hospital. Minister Wilson further commenting that cases are still rising and people have stayed home with serious coronavirus symptoms and unfortunately died before they got to hospital. She adds, regardless of your age, if you have worsening coronavirus symptoms, especially shortness of breath, diarrhea, and/or vomiting, immediately contact your doctor or the hospital directly. A ministry spokesperson adds there will be a pop-up vaccination clinic sponsored by the Bermuda Medical Doctors Association at the back of Charity's House at 25 Point Finger Road in Paget this Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Walk-ins are allowed, but appointments are encouraged. Vaccinations and boosters are also available at the Hamilton Health Centre on 67 Victoria Street. These vaccinations can be made by appointment only, with no walk-ins. To call to book an appointment, that number is 332-8906. And parents wishing to have their children vaccinated with doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, they will be available at the end of May. Register at gov.bm/vaccines and contact your pediatrician to register an interest in getting the vaccine. I'm Jasmine Patterson with Bermuda Broadcasting News. Enjoy your evening.
And the weather brought to you by BF&M.
Does your to-do list seem to be getting longer and longer? Are you looking for ways to save time? With BF&M, you can. At bfm.bm, you can shop for home, motor, marine, or travel insurance, and you can buy, pay, or renew your insurance online too. Need to pay in installments? With BF&M, you can, even for motor insurance. If you have questions, our live chat agents are available during business hours to assist you, so you can do everything online and save time. That's insurance made easy with BF&M. Visit us online today at bfm.bm.
This weather update is provided by the Bermuda Weather Service, sponsored by BF&M.
All right, thank you, Jasmine. Weather-wise for tonight, it's going to be partly cloudy skies, winds out of the west to southwest. Going to be light winds. In fact, overnight low 72 degrees. Friday cloudy to start with, a chance of a shower or two for Friday. Friday's high 79 and low 72 degrees. For the weekend on Saturday, gradually sunny skies developing in the afternoon. Some afternoon showers as well. West to northwesterly winds light to moderate for Saturday. Saturday's high 80 and low 71 degrees. Now for Sunday, partly cloudy skies, more showers in the local area. High 80 and low 71. And for next week, Monday, some sunny conditions out there with a few showers again around the local area. Winds will be variable with a high 78 degrees and low at 71 degrees in Bermuda. Relative humidity is going down somewhat, 76%.
This weather update was provided by the Bermuda Weather Service, sponsored by BF&M.
And thanks to the folks at BF&M and the Bermuda Weather Service.
94.9 Bermuda. Our 95.
And it is time now for Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson. And I want to say good afternoon to MP Famous and guests on the line as well.
Good afternoon, Brother Dawn. Good afternoon to the people of Bermuda, and good afternoon to our first two guests. How are you doing?
I'm doing better than good. How are you?
Oh, wow. Can you say that again, sir?
I'm doing better than good. How are you?
I'm blessed. And there's another guest on the line?
Yes, Paul Richards here. How you doing?
Sorry, could you say that again? The voice sounds familiar. Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah. Paul Richards here. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. I just wanted you to repeat your voice for the people of Bermuda.
Okay, all righty. All right, Carl.
So, how do I address you? Do I address you as Reverend?
Paul.
Do I address
Paul
you
Richards.
as Pastor?
Paul Richards.
Paul and Emmanuel.
Beg pardon?
And my name is Emmanuel.
And I'm Paul.
Okay. So we got two gentlemen here today as our first guests. And tell us exactly, there's an event coming up, an important event for the people of Bermuda, especially for the men of Bermuda. Can you elaborate a little bit about that for us?
Sure. We are thankful to be able to be on the show this afternoon so we can try to encourage everyone to, particularly the man and teenage young men, to come out to the National Stadium to this all-male event that we're having. It's called Be the Change. The idea is that we want to pull together and to encourage one another to make a change in our island, but we've got to start with ourselves. And so it's this Saturday at the National Stadium, at the National Sports Center, Northfield, starts at 5 p.m., but at 4:30 p.m., we're going to have a musician who's going to play some saxophone just before we get started. And so we're encouraging everyone to encourage all men and all young men to come out.
Okay, and who are some of the guests that are going to be on this event? I think the other gentleman can probably answer that question.
Okay, well, the first two gentlemen are local. It's going to be Andre Curtis and Raymond Simons. They're going to be the first two speakers that are going to come on and talk about their story and talk about how they dealt with the challenges of life and overcame it. And then Emmanuel, our guest speaker, is going to come on and do the same with his story, but then he's going to move on, and I'll let him talk to that area.
Oh, I'm very excited to be on the island again. This is beautiful weather. I left 100 degrees in Texas, so I'm just thankful to be here. And we're excited about what we're doing, the purpose. The purpose of this event is to plant some seeds to start change. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is this is not a one-and-done event. We're having a meeting as a catalyst to start a process of helping men over a 20-week period start developing change. I'm very excited about it.
Okay. And what are some of the outcomes that you would like to see as a result of this event?
Well, one outcome is unity, relationship. Men need to know each other, and the more we know about each other, the more we care about each other. But knowing is not enough. But getting down to the core issues that cause us to act the way we act, we're hoping that we can peel some of the layers back of men so that we can get down to the nitty-gritty and really talk about the truth about why we are the way we are.
Chris, one of the other things is that we recognize that very often we have meetings, we have protests, we have walks, we have prayer vigils. We have these one and done things, but the decision was made that this is going to be different. We're hoping to have at least 2,000 men and young men here to be able to participate in this event. I don't recall us in Bermuda ever having something that caters specifically to man on this large scale. And we're hoping for this to be a catalyst, again, to not just have this event, but to one time. This is a start. We want to encourage men now to participate in weekly Zoom meetings that will follow on from this to help really make the change. Not to make a change from one meeting, but with the things that Brother White is using, Emmanuel has a material that's called the Brotherhood of Man. That's the material that we will be using for the session. And the way it is designed is that each session, Emmanuel will be taking about 25 minutes, giving a presentation on these various topics. As you mentioned, talking about the father wound, the absent father there, the mother, where maybe spend a little bit too much time with the boys and not giving the boys time with man. Those are challenges and affect men. And so we want to talk about those things. And then after that 25-minute session, we're going to break out into small groups on Zoom and allow the man to be able to talk about those things. And the goal is to eventually get to the point that we are not just talking about things, but we want to be able to put in place a manhood plan. And so out of that there, we'll be encouraging one another to put together this plan, and then we will action it. That's the goal.
Okay, and so because as you rightfully said, Mr. Richards, is that often we have these events, let me put it that way, whether it be protests or whatever, and then a year later, a month later, a week later, there's nothing, right?
Right.
For example, 2 years ago, we had, due to the unfortunate murder of George Floyd, we had a big movement of Black Lives Matter, but which it does do, it always has. But the question is, what has come out of it? We still see black people getting killed. We still see black men maligned. So what really has been the follow-up from all this massive global movement? So I think that's what every revolution starts with a few people, right? It never starts with big, massive amounts of people. But a revolution is successful because of consistency. And I think where people in Bermuda have become numb to certain things at this point. So the question is, I shouldn't say the question, the challenge for all of us is to say, well, we can't change this situation overnight, but we all have to do our part. I know that's cliched, but
that's right.
It's good to see different organizations come together to do their part.
Yes.
And we believe that for the ladies that are out there, if you encourage your men to come just to this one event, I promise you're going to see a difference in the way they look, the way they are thinking, because we're going to be speaking to the hearts of men, about men, from men. And I just want you to understand that this is a catalyst, this is a start, this is a beginning, but it can be a powerful beginning. I hope you're curious enough to at least come in and check it out for yourself. Be curious enough to at least come and see what's happening. You're not going to be able to hear about it and get the impact. You need to experience it for yourself.
Chris, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So
okay.
Could you just, sorry about that. Could you just remind the people of Bermuda where the event is, the time, is there a admission fee, so on and so forth?
Yeah. I think the most important thing is to understand that this is a free event. Yep, it's free, and because we want all the men and young men to be here. Okay, we want this place as the National Sports Center, the North Field, under the big tent. We're actually up here now putting all the chairs together. We want to fill this tent and have overflow. And we are prepared to be able to encourage men and young men to be able to understand the importance for us to be able to talk. You know, our slogan here is real man, real talk. Because, you know, man, we don't really talk much about the real stuff. You know, we talk about football, we talk about cricket, we talk about every other sport and politics, we talk about everything, but we very really do we have the conversations to talk about the real stuff, the relationships and the challenges that we have in relationships with our wives, with our children, you know, with our siblings. And so those are the things that affect society. Those are the things that affect the way that we conduct ourselves. And so we want you to please come out this Saturday at 5 p.m. Again, at 4:30, we're going to have a musician playing saxophone just to relax us, to get ready to hear the speakers share their story, and then help us to see a better way to handle things. Emmanuel White, he's the author of the program that we're going to be using. As you said, this is a catalyst, this is a start to engage in the 20-session program after that called the Brotherhood of Man. That will start on not the following Monday, but the week after that, the 30th, on Monday evenings at 7 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. It will be on Zoom, so there's one good thing about the COVID is that it's helped people to be much more tech savvy, and so we're able to do this because we can use Zoom. So in the comfort of their homes, all the men will be able to engage in these sessions. And so we're excited about that, and we know it will bring about great dividends if the men take an active participation. Again, let's not just talk. You know, we've now got something in place that will help to bring about the change. Let's be the change.
All right, well, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for taking the time to come on and speak to the people of Bermuda, because often people point fingers. Well, so-and-so should do it, so-and-so should do it, so-and-so should do it. And nobody's really taking up the mantle to do it. So I want to thank you all for taking up the mantle to make this first step.
But thank you, and thank you for the time to share. If I could just say one other thing, that as far as parking, all the bikes can park on the field coming off of the Frog Lane side, but all of the cars, they will have to park on the on the western side, up from the Roberts Avenue side. Devon Chirac can be used, as well as the Clyde Best venue or City Bridge. So it's parking all around.
All right. And just one little bit of nepotism, if possible. I just want to say I'm proud of you, my cousin.
Yes. yes. Thank you, cuz. I appreciate you, too, all that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having us on the line.
All right. Thank you, Father Emmanuel. Hope to see you there.
Look forward
to seeing you. And hope you get, I know you've been working with a lot of men, so hopefully you encourage all of them to be here.
I'll do my part.
All righty. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thank you, Brother Dorn.
Yes, sir. All is good. Sounds very interesting.
All right. So, I forgot, I didn't get a chance to say it. In Bermuda, we have multiple challenges. Whatever challenge you could think about, we have it. But more importantly, we have people that are willing to do their part to deal with these challenges. And as we heard from our first guest, we have men who are willing to step, as in a cricket sense, step to the wicket with other men to do their part. We also have persons who work in our government agencies who are doing their part to help our young Bermudians. And our second set of guests who are in studio are from the Child and Family Service. I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
Okay, they're out in the lobby as we speak. So what we will do is go to commercial break and come back to you, and then take the news and set things up.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Have you been diagnosed with prediabetes? Act now to protect your health. Freestyle Libre helps you to keep your glucose levels under control with an easy single scan at any time. You can find it at the Bermuda Diabetes Association, located on 22 Princess Street in Hamilton, or you can give them a call at 297-8427.
Looking for savings when you ship to Bermuda? Look no further than Zipex. Our customers don't pay any sales tax at checkout when shipping to our Zipex Delaware address. Save on all the things you love and enjoy island-wide delivery to your door. Or pick up from our convenient Zipex collection center at 5th at Fiend Gorham Road, located between Oleander Cycles and Lobster Pod. Zipex customers can collect packages from Monday to Friday between 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. or Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. To sign up for your free Zipex account, visit zipex.bm/signup. Shop, ship, and save with Zipex.
Now back to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson. Go ahead, Chris.
Yes, sir.
So you can elaborate on what you were just talking about for a few minutes, and then we'll take the news break.
Okay. All right. Yes. So as I was saying, Bermuda, we have multiple challenges, as with every country in the world. Some challenges are insurmountable, some are not. But more importantly, in order to address these challenges, they don't just happen through Apple or Facebook or something like that. They take people, caring people, to address these challenges day in and day night. And Bermuda is fortunate to have a Department of Child and Family Services in which there are loving, caring professionals who address the needs of the young people in the care of the state. And today we have two special guests who, after the news break, will be speaking about May being Foster Care Month. Yes, are you there today?
Yes, go ahead, Chris. They're there.
Okay. So I will allow the guests to introduce themselves, and then we'll go to break, and then we'll come back and get into the meat of the matter.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Samir Ramin. I am a social worker with the Foster Care section of the Department of Child and Family Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Selena Simons, Foster Care Coordinator for the Department of Child and Family Services.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Ramin and Mrs. Simons. And we'll go to news break, and when we come back, we'll allow you to tell the people of Bermuda what is happening in the area of foster care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're locked to Power 95, Bermuda's big station, at 94.9 FM, a Bermuda Broadcasting Company station.
Guest speakers arrive on island to discuss gang and gun violence in the community affecting young men. Consultation period launches for national plan to address gaps in care for people with intellectual disabilities. And Front Street pavement works due to finish tomorrow, end of day. And those are our top headlines. You're listening to Bermuda Broadcasting News, brought to you by Butterfield Bank.
Take control of your Butterfield credit card by downloading the Butterfield Card Alerts app. Monitor your spending activity with real-time transaction alerts sent directly to your mobile device. And if your card is lost or stolen, use the app to turn the card off, preventing any further transactions from being processed. Download the app from the Apple Store or Google Play Store today. Customized credit card controls. This is banking by Butterfield. The Bank of N.T. Butterfield & Son Limited is licensed to conduct banking business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
Now back to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson.
Yes, welcome back to Motion to Adjourn. May is Foster Care Month, and we have two dedicated professionals who are going to speak to what is Foster Care Month and what is happening with foster care in Bermuda. And I now turn it over to you, Ms. Romaine and Mrs. Simons.
Okay, thank you very much, MP Famous, for having us as guests here this evening. Hello to all members listening in the audience. Yes, May is Foster Care Month, and it is the time of year when we like to recognize and highlight the important job that foster parents are doing in the community. It's also a time when we like to thank the dedicated staff that work at the Department of Child and Family Services, who work in the foster care section and who work with children and families. So it's a time for us to bring awareness to the community in terms of what foster care is, what we're doing, what members of the community are doing in terms of filling in the gap and stepping up to the plate in taking care of children.
Okay. And Mr. Romain?
Yes, this is a time we do honor our foster parents and the wonderful, marvelous jobs that they do working with our children of this population. So we've been doing some radio spots as well as on Sunday we will be hosting a foster parent appreciation tea. Due to COVID, this is a yearly event that we at the department look forward to because it is an opportunity for us to show our appreciation to our foster parents. So this will be our first one since 2019. And so we're excited about it. And also we like to take this opportunity to recruit, because it may be somebody who might be thinking about how they can possibly get involved, how they can become a foster parent, and what they can do to also support our young people in foster care.
Okay, so tell us and break it down for those of us that don't fully understand. What is foster care? Is it adoption? Is it just taking a child in?
So foster care is a temporary arrangement where a family is used to take care of a child or children because they have been referred to the Department of Child and Family Services due to concerns about child abuse and or neglect. Foster care can't be considered permanent because it is not adoption. I heard you use the word adoption. Adoption is a completely different process, and adoption has a legal finality to it. Foster care is considered temporary. Social workers work along with the birth parents and birth families to help them and assist them and gear them towards reunification at some point. So foster parents are a stopgap measure. They fill in the gap and they take care of young people while it's needed.
So Ms. Romain, question for you. If a child goes into foster care, how long does that normally last? Or is there a finite time? Or is it varies from case to case, client to client, I should say?
So this is a case-to-case situation. Every child's experience in foster care is different. We would be remiss if we didn't say that we have children who are born into foster care and removed from the parent immediately at birth and age out at age 18. So they live their entire lifespan in foster care. Then we have cases where we have children who may come into foster care for a matter of months, just while the parents kind of get themselves together or rectify whatever caused them to come into care, and then the child is reunited with their family. So it can vary from, like I said, from a few months to 18 years.
Okay. And at present, how many young persons do we have in the foster care system?
We are currently caring for 65 young people from infancy up to the age of 17 and a bit. Like Ms. Romain said, they do age out of foster care at 18, but that's because of the law. So by law, we can't do anything post 18. However, there are several committed foster families within Bermuda that keep their young person past the age of 18. And once they go past the age of 18, they have access to another part of the system in terms of the Department of Financial Assistance. And they would also, if they get accepted into Bermuda College, they're allowed to go to Bermuda College for free.
Okay. So let me ask this question. Let's say hypothetically a family takes in a child, and their birth parents, it doesn't seem like it's going to work out where they can reconcile living with the birth parent full time. What happens if the foster parent says, you know what, I would really love to adopt this child legally?
That has happened, and it has happened for a small number of cases. Foster parents are members of the public, and they can put in an application to adopt their foster child if they so choose to. There's nothing to stop them from doing that. They can do that. It has happened in a small number of cases. Now, what people may not realize or are not immediately aware of is that every single child that we have in foster care, they have a case that's in the family court. So the family court system is very much a part of the system in terms of what we do. So when I was talking earlier about there are several things that birth families need to work on, those things are actually reported on in family court, and family court alongside of us tracks the progress of the families.
Okay. So, and forgive me if my questions sound overtly basic, but
it's okay.
I like to learn this process, and I know there are plenty of others. And what are these sort of characters? Are single parents able to become foster parents, or does it have to be
absolutely? and I would like to say too that no question. Well, no question is a simple question, and that's part of the reason why we're on the air is we want to educate people, because a lot of people don't understand the system. They don't understand that court's involved. They don't understand the structure and the makeup of foster care, and how we move forward. We love anybody who really couples, but we do prefer singles, because sometimes what you have is, you might have a female who's out there listening to this thinking, this is a great idea. And she goes home to her spouse who's like, no, not really. And so we have to make sure. It could be, yeah, absolutely right. It could be. But what we need to make sure is that both parents, both people in that relationship are willing to open up their home to the child, because if not, then that could create for other issues within their marriage, within their home life, and their structure. It has to be a united front. Yes, and it also has to be a united front for the children too. So if that mom who's listening out there, they got a husband and 2 children, then that's a conversation for the entire family, because we're going to need the entire family on board to make this process work.
The other thing that people are not aware of is that if persons are here on long-term contracts, we would work with them as well. Mm-hmm. So we're open to working with any applicants who are prepared and willing and able to go through the application process. It's not quick, it's lengthy, and it's extensive. So persons have to be prepared to go through that to get approved to be foster parents. Well, we will work with anyone who gets through the approval process.
Yeah. And we also work in such a way, we also have sometimes where we need respite foster parents as well. And a respite foster parent would be someone who would step in if for some reason there's an emergency, or the family, the foster parents have to go off island, or they're sick, or they just need a break sometimes, that foster parent would then be what we would call a respite foster parent, and they will provide that support to the foster family in terms of supporting the child during those times. And there's people who may take a child. We have one foster parent who she is a respite foster parent, and she takes a young man every other weekend. We have some who take the children every weekend. We have others who do school holidays. So we have several different types of foster parents that we need. So, anybody can really help and support as long as they pass the process.
So we're going to open the lines if persons want to call in with questions. The number to call is 292-9595. If you have any questions or comments or observations about foster care in Bermuda, that's 292-9595. So let me ask you this: what are some of the check marks that you look for in foster parents?
So I'm glad you brought that up, because the profile of the foster child has changed over the years. So we really would love it if persons who have a background in working with children, whether it be youth programs, clinical work, exposure to young people in the schools. If you have exposure to working with young people, that's actually a benefit. But in the standard process in terms of being approved, you have to go through a police background check. You have to go through a Department of Child and Family Services child abuse clearance check. You have to provide character references. You have to be willing to participate in training. The Department of Health assists us, so they come and look at your premises. And you also have to go through a home study evaluation, and that's an in-depth interview by a social worker who will do a report on you and your family dynamics and your readiness to foster.
Okay, we actually have a caller on line. Good afternoon, caller.
They just hung up. Caller, can you call back?
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, people are interested. So yeah, so it's a sort of multi-agency process, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Say it and count it again. So what are
Go ahead, caller. Call us on the line. Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon to you, Don. Good afternoon, Mr. Famous and Mr. Robinson, and your guests.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. I heard you say you have about 65 foster children.
Yes.
Where are their parents?
Well, like I had said, the parents that we are working with have different types of challenges and issues that they have to work on. And the family court is very aware of what their challenges are or what they need assistance with. So we work very hard to actually connect people to services within the community. So people could be getting services from either MWI, they could be getting therapy, they could be getting anger management services, they could be getting substance abuse treatment. They could be working on a whole host of things to have themselves be ready to have their children back.
Okay. My other question is that if it's a parent and has two children, right? I know you have to talk to all the people in the household. They might not want to take anybody older than their children.
Right.
So they can work with them and bring them through these roofs.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Right, and it's a good day.
To answer your question, I think you had a question about ages. So when people do applications, there's actually a place on the application where they could put their preferences in terms of ages and gender and types of child, depending on what their family composition is.
Right, and I do know you have to get a police check and stuff like that.
All of that.
I know
Yes,
all
sir.
Of that, yes, I understand that. Yes.
Okay, thank you, caller. Thanks for calling.
All right.
Thank you.
You caller. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to call us at 292-9595. So, ladies, let me ask you this. Tell us a little bit about the staff that are there.
We have an amazing team, spearheaded and overseen by Miss Selena Simons, our amazing coordinator. We are a team of 8. We have Miss Simons, who is our coordinator. We have 3 social workers, and then we have 3 social work assistants. They are paired up, so there are 3 teams of 2. And then we also have an administration officer who works in making sure that our foster parents and our children's needs are met. We work very hard, we work very diligently, and we work with the biological family, the child, as well as the foster family, and the schools and all other agencies involved with the children.
And what sort of, let me ask this, maybe not fit in a checkbox, but what sort of person does it take to work in the foster care field?
You have to be very flexible. You have to be able to respond to change quickly because there are no 2 days alike. You never know what's going to happen from morning to night. No. And one thing that I say all the time that is very key, and my staff knows, is you have to have a sense of humor. If you do not have a sense of humor, things will really, really, really get to you, to your core. So you have to be able to be flexible. You have to take advice. You have to be willing to take guidance. And you have to have somewhat thick skin in order to bounce back from the various crises that occurs. Every day it's something that we're dealing with.
So we're going to go to a break, and then we'll be right back.
Every month is snack month for us, it would seem, as long as they're the healthful, guilt-free, delectable snacks we crave. Enter the Daily Crave, a company whose first product was churros, the well-loved Spanish treat, followed by diversification in the form of classic puff snacks and chips. They ventured beyond the traditional list of ingredients. The grains are gone, replaced by lentils, pulses, and cassava, slaking our craving with a vegan-friendly, gluten-free snack that satisfies. This month, we're featuring the Daily Crave Quinoa Bourbon Barbecue Chips. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Have you seen what Seasons and Sizewise have for your summer wardrobe? Yes, they are packed with beautiful clothes for petite, missy, and plus-size women. Looking for swimwear, cover-ups, mix-and-match outfits, or cool dresses for any occasion? Seasons and Sizewise has it all. They even have a nice selection of handbags. custom jewelry, and don't forget Easy Street wide width shoes in sizes 7 to 12. Seasons and Sizewise, your number one fashion stores at Apache Plaza, corner of Point Finger and South Shore Road. Open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Now back to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson.
Yes, and we're back with the ladies from Foster Care Services of Bermuda. Let me ask you this. The gentleman made a statement which I guess is a common thought of many persons is if a child's in foster care, well, where's the parents?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that speaks to something that as a country that we've I don't say lost, but we've gotten away from. The fact of the matter is that there have been challenges. Persons have had challenges since the day one of Earth being formed.
Correct.
Our society, for the better part, was born out of colonialism and slavery. So there's multiple layers of trauma in our society.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we have, before there was a major, funding for these social nets, we had each other, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's multiple generations of, well, so wasn't raised by her mama, she was raised by her auntie for whatever reason. Yes. Or so that's not his real daddy, but his took that child on his wing for whatever reasons. And so I would say to the gentleman that the question can be, where are the families? We are these children's family, right? And luckily we have a department, a minister who I know definitely cares about the welfare of people. We have multiple directors. We have yourselves that do this, and we have to do our part to assist you all beyond just it's the government's got to take care of them. The government's got to take care of them. Do you find a lot of assistance with other agencies out in the private sector?
But let me just comment on what you just said. I think it's very clear that 20, 30 years ago, it was definitely a village raising our children. I always say you always remember that one child, depending on your age, if you were 20, 30 years ago, that one child in your class who maybe came to school a little bit dirty or didn't have their lunch or, but then it was also in your neighbor. If you even think about your neighborhood, right? It was that one child in that one family in the neighborhood, but Miss So-and-so would give them a cup of sugar. Or if, I know from my house, my granny was always saying, oh, take this pot over to Miss So-and-so's house, and would share food and resources. And so a lot of times the neglect issues, the other issues, even some of mental health issues were caught by the village. And so we're not much of a village sometimes. No, I mean, we still, I give high props and praise to our kinship families, because we do have some kinship families who have taken on that assistance of raising family members and have opened their homes to relatives. And so we do still have that. But then we also have some biological parents who have burnt the bridge to the degree that it's not so much that the family doesn't want to deal with the child, they don't want to deal with the parent. And so they then say, no, I can't do this because of whatever issues they bring. And we do work with a lot of agencies. We work with schools. We work with school teachers, guidance counselors. We work with best friends. We work with anybody who is willing to come to the table in the best interest of the child. We're prepared to work with them. As long as there's no safety issues or concern, we will do that work.
And let me comment to the other part of your question, MP Famous. You talked about the private sector and help. I think when it comes to donations, the biggest time of the year when we receive multitudes of donations from the private sector is during Christmas. The Christmas gifts for foster children is highly subscribed by the private sector. And also when we went through the pandemic and children needed technical equipment, we had a lot of assistance from the private sector. So that was, happily received by us, and that's their way of assisting and donating.
Yeah, because, and Ms. Romaine encapsulated better than I could ever, right? It's that we've all grown up, in everybody's family, in everybody's community, there's a level of dysfunction, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we had no shame in helping out our
brothers, sisters, cousins, neighbors that needed help, because all of us need help somewhere down the line, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as we've become a little bit more, I guess you would say, financially successful to some extent, we've become less communal, if that's the way I want to put it, right? And as they say in the church, some people have to stand in the gap, and you all are standing in the gap for our young people in need.
Yes.
Because our young people don't stay young all the time; they grow old. And if they didn't have these assistance, we could see some statistics that are far worse than what we're seeing now.
Correct. Yes, and I think a lot of the feedback that we get from our foster families is that they themselves have a large network of support. They're connected to lots of people who help them care for these children. Many of them have large church networks. If it's not a church network, it's some type of community club or some type of group that they're involved in. The minute they raise their hand to say that they're going to take in a foster child, there's a network of support of people that get involved that want to help.
And so let me ask you this, sir. How do you all, in dealing with all the, beyond having a very good sense of humor, how do you all deal with the challenges that you see? Like, how do you stop yourself from internalizing?
We have to do a lot of debriefing.
Yes.
So talking it out, hashing it out, using our team members, using our colleagues as support, we have to do a lot of debriefing. It's very important.
And I know for me, I focus on the success of the children, because a lot of times when you think children incur, a lot of people think, oh, there's children in the system, they're not good children, or maybe there's children in crisis. A lot of times our children aren't. I mean, we have some children in foster care who are doing amazing things. And I want to say big shout out to our 4 young ladies that are getting ready to graduate. We have 2 young ladies getting ready to graduate from Berkeley who are both honor roll students for the last year. And they came into care as teenagers. And we have 2 young ladies at Cedar Bridge, the same thing. And they're getting ready to graduate, both honor students. We have children who are excelling in sports. We have children who are excelling in music. We have children who are excelling academically. Like, we have foster children who are doing amazing things. And so for us, it's making sure that they have what they need despite what they don't have, and I think for me, that's where I got my piece. And that's where, we have these tough cases, but these tough cases are then followed by somebody who's doing something amazing. Or you got an email. I got a WhatsApp yesterday from a new foster parent who's had a child in her home for 6 months. And she's like, hey, she was failing, but guess what? She's now passing 3 classes. And so those are the small victories that we take solace in, and that keep encouraging us to do what we'll continue to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And for you, Mrs. Simon?
What were you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was asking, how do you...
The highlights. In terms of the highlights, I mean, for me, having been around for quite a long time, a lot of the highlights for me come from when they are young adults and they keep in contact. And they reach back and let us know what they're doing, or they've been, afforded a scholarship and they're going overseas. I mean, I have a young lady that should be on her way traveling back to Bermuda now, who just graduated with her bachelor's degree in nursing, and she was with us. She grew up with us. So those are the highlights in terms of seeing them become successful young people.
And I also want to highlight, too, for our foster care tea, we normally have a former foster child come back and speak. So someone who's grown, and they share their experience in foster care, and they also share their trials and tribulations as well, but encouraging the foster parents to continue what they're doing, because they are an example of what can be, and there's always there's a positive light at the end of the tunnel, despite some of the challenges that may present while they're going through adolescence, pre-adolescence, and childhood.
Oh yeah, we can't sugarcoat it. I mean, it comes with peaks and valleys. It definitely comes with ebbs and flows. But the most important part is that the department staff are here to support all foster parents, and if the support has to be extended, we will contract out with service providers. I mean, we have a multitude of agencies that we partner with that we are using to make sure that everything is put in place for these children and for the adults that are caring for them.
All right, thank you. We're going to go to our last break, and then we'll come back and wrap up.
Thanks.
The fans have been waiting. The world has been waiting. People all over the universe have been Bermuda, get ready for the hottest old school party of the year.
Catch a Fire presents the official Fight Night After Party. Saturday, May 28th, outside the Shed and Duckyard.
It's the Stone Love 50th Anniversary World Tour.
Featuring the immortal Stone Love. Alongside Bermuda's legendary OGS Genesis. General admission $50. VIP $125. Tickets available at ptix.bm. Jamaican Grill and Freshman.
Stone Love 50th Anniversary World Tour.
Saturday, May 28th, outside the Shed and Duckyard. Gates open 11 p.m. Rated M for the mature crowd. Dress to impress. Stone Love, OGS Genesis. Be there. Sponsored by Digicel.
The Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby is just upon us. Join ZFB TV7 and Power 95 for the 112th edition Friday, May 27th. We will provide all the excitement starting at 8 a.m. with a pre-marathon broadcast live from Somerset with Nick Jones. He will bring you live interviews with current and former competitors, and you can be assured he will keep you abreast until the start of the race. That's Friday, May 27th on ZFB TV7 and Power 95. Brought to you by HSBC, the Argus Group, BAC Universal Electric, Lindo's Group of Companies, BEDC, Digicel, The Phoenix Stores, D'Angelini's Cafe, and Freddy's Buffet.
Now back to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson.
Yes, thank you, and we're back. Ladies, Miss Romaine, is it Miss or Mrs. Romaine?
Miss.
Okay, Miss Romaine and Mrs. Simon, thank
Yes.
you. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before we close up?
Shouting out to everybody.
Like, I heard you on the radio. You need give me a shout out.
Shouting out to all of the hard, dedicated, dynamic workers of the Department of Child and Family Services. We are a unit. We are a team. We are all in this together, and we would not be here and not give you guys a shout out. So shout out to all our colleagues.
I want to give a shout out to all our amazing foster parents. We have some foster parents who have been with us with children since birth and are on this journey with them, dedicated and committed. And we couldn't do what we do without them. They indeed do the heavy lifting. They are the ones who's doing it 24/7, 365. And we just want to say thank you for everything that you do. We see you. We recognize you, and we definitely appreciate it because we know we couldn't do it without you. And also I have to give a shout out to my daughters. You know, I wouldn't heard the end of it if I'd have heard it, if I give a shout out to them. So Shawnee and Mari, Mommy loves you.
And we're looking forward to seeing all of our foster parents on Sunday for the appreciation tea at 3 p.m. They all have their invites and they know what's happening. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you very much for having us.
Mr. Famous, I wore green just for you, and you're not here.
You notice the eerie pause, right?
But it's okay, Mr. Famous. I don't have on my green, but I'm Guild House and I'm St. George's, so I'm got you, Mr. Famous. I'm got you.
Say that again, Mr.
I'm Guild House and I'm St. George's. I'm got you.
Okay, my sister. Okay, my sister. Hallelujah. Now, before we go any further, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Ian Rollins because he's the one of the directors at BBC, and he sent me a text the other day, editing him with some other little sports type of stuff that he likes to talk about. And he said, "Hey, we got some ladies from Child and Family Service. What you saying, bro? What day do I have no more? We have no more." I said, "Any day for Child and Family Service, any day." So what I'm saying to you all, you don't have to wait until next month, next year when it's Child and Family Foster Care Month. Anytime you all want to come on, any section whatsoever, just let us know. Give us 2 weeks of notice and we'll go it.
Okay.
We thank you for that open invitation.
Yes, indeed. And Miss Simon, is there anyone else you want to shout out to? two persons in particular. Mrs. Simon, sorry.
No, I'm good.
You're good.
Yes.
You sure you're good?
I'm positive. I'm perfectly okay. Like I said, you're not physically here, so I can't harass you about greenhouse.
Bro, let me say this in a moment of transparency. Mrs. Simons is one of
Motion to Adjourn's faithful listeners. Ever since we started two plus years ago. So we want to thank you for finally getting to see how we make the sausages. Brother Dawn, this lady deserves a gold star, and I say that facetiously, for being one of our top listeners, because every show she WhatsApps and says, no, that's not how it is. I'm so glad I got the truth on something. Or
You got her on the radio now. Now she's shy.
And she sends all these little emojis on my WhatsApp and all this stuff. So I just want to thank you and all the faithful listeners of Motion to Adjourn. And you're sure there's no one else you want to shout out?
Okay. I will definitely give a shout out to my mother, Mrs. May Smith, who is having a birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Smith.
Aunt May. Because if you and I don't say nothing on the radio, buddy, like, you're never going to hear the end of it, right?
Keep you and myself out of trouble, yes.
Yeah, so, and another moment of transparency, Mrs. Simons is my cousin. And Aunt May, happy birthday when it comes. And I have a bail as if you when I see.
Thank
and
you.
Shout out to Miss Soleil.
Yes.
Played in that dress. Thank you very much, ladies. Child and Family Services has an open door invitation to Motion to Adjourn. We consider us as one of your private sector partners.
Thank you very much. We will let the team know.
All right. Give my regards to Mr. Mabry as well.
Definitely. And shout out to the big man.
The big boss.
That's the big boss.
Tell him shine up that cup. Right, brother Dawn?
Yeah.
So me, Brother Dawn, and Miss Ramin are coming for our cup.
Plastic cup.
St. George's. Olive.
All right. So, listeners, thank you. Not sure what we're having next week. In 2 weeks' time, we are going to have the Lugo family, who's going to be representing St. David's Islanders and the Native community, speaking about the Pequot heritage of connection to Bermuda. So that's in June. I'll let you know what we're going to be doing next week. Brother Dawn, thank you once again on behalf of myself and Brother Dwayne, who's enjoying some much-needed time with his family. Thank you for his doing 2 weeks without me. We work as a team. Brother Dawn, and with that,
And you have been listening to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson.
You're locked to Power 95, Bermuda's big station at 94.9 FM, a Bermuda Broadcasting Company station. Dropping it like it's hot.
Pay close attention because I'm only going to say this once.
The big station, Power 95.
Push P. Yeah, Push P. Turn me up.